Hey everybody, welcome to the Plastic Adventures podcast slash show slash internet phenom that we are. I am Doug, partnered with my friend Steve in our virtual places, separate but together. And with our toys, Steve's stash has been slowly gaining in gains, I should say. His collection is looking pretty good.
Yeah. Surprisingly, for the last several, I guess not really several, 2.5 months or something.
Yeah.
There's been quite a bit of good stuff found up here. And as I mentioned in my little update that I posted on the Facebook group, do not cry for Steve, because Steve lives in a very toy-rich environment. So I'm lucky dude.
Steve is a lucky bastard, darn it. Well, so what are we doing? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some news. Got some news that showed up this week, I should say. Some pretty good news came out of Hasbro, and then we'll get into maybe some show and tells, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of our show. So we'll start it off with some news, some really cool news. So if you've been living under a rock for the last couple of months, you've known that Star Wars has been anxiously awaiting its release of the Kenobi TV series, and so on Friday it released it. A lot of people, some mixed reviews, but mostly on the good side, I should say. There has been some odd people making some comments, but we don't pay attention to those people. But for the reviews that are talking about the show itself, it's mostly good. I mean, I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's been a good show so far. But what that does mean is that Star Wars is ready to release a whole bunch of new Star Wars toys, which is in everybody's best interest. So they first kicked off that one with a bunch of new retro releases, the Obi-Wan Kenobi characters in the retro style. So
now, are we talking like retro 5 POA, or was this just what they call the vintage collection?
Retro 5 POA.
Really?
Yeah. And so the first one they showed
was, I only saw one.
Well, yeah, they showed Reva, right?
Yeah.
Which as far as 5 POA action figures go, she looks just like she should. But somebody did leak the back of that card art, and we know who is coming in that.
Okay.
Not only is Reva, third sister, the first one to be shown, but we are going to be getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Wandering Jedi garb, Darth Vader, the Dark Times, some robot named Ned B, and a Grand Inquisitor plus the fifth brother. So if you've been watching that series, or if you've been watching Clone Wars at any point in time in Star Wars, you should know who we're talking about for these ones, with Reva, of course, being the new character that was introduced during Kenobi.
Yeah, she's a little bit over the top, but I liked her. So we're getting a Darth Vader in those retros?
Yeah, we're getting a Darth Vader. But we haven't seen what Darth Vader looks like in this series yet, so he could be slightly different. They're calling him Darth Vader the Dark Times, so I'm not exactly sure what that means. I haven't seen one, so I'm pretty anxious to see what he looks like.
So what is this going to be, like a New Hope retro figure with a couple new paint apps on it?
Possibly. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows?
Now, to be honest with you, I would almost prefer that for these retro figures, because Kenner would not have worked very hard on that. I mean, for God's sake.
Kenner would have released a remold and a repaint.
Yeah, you had New Hope Obi-Wan Kenobi on Return of the Jedi card.
Yeah, so, I know. Yeah, they wouldn't have thought too hard about this one. So, I mean, who knows what he's going to look like. But it's interesting to know that retro line is still continuing. And it looks like it's continuing in the same pattern where they release six store available figures to go along with the rest of the line. So the new I don't know what we call it, the Kenner Reboot line, I guess, started with the A New Hope 6, and then it went into Empire Strikes Back. We went into Mandalorian with there's 2 waves of retro. So we're going to get this Obi-Wan wave for the rest of 2002, it seems, and then hopefully my prediction stays true and we see Return of the Jedi in 2023.
Come on, man. Come on, please.
I know.
We're dying for it.
Oh, let's see what I found in the news. Okay, so that was pretty cool. Shattered glass blaster was confirmed on Hasbro Pulse. Be there or not, who knows? He's got interesting colors, but is this enough for me to run out and buy a second blaster? No, he's good. The one I have is the one I prefer, actually. So I've never been too interested in the Shattered Glass, but I am interested in the one for the Ultra Magnus.
So I got to ask this, right? You're looking at repaints of characters. I mean, to me, Shattered Glass is super bland. They're either like black and purple and neon green,
right,
or they're white with like red and like blue or yellow highlights on them. Why aren't we getting a blaster repaint from Transformers Headmasters? You know, when he went blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, now if you want to do a really sweet fan channel exclusive, that's the
way to go
that we should be seeing. But Shattered Glass, I just don't get it. What if the good guys were bad and the bad guys were good? It just...
Yeah, I have seen some customs online though of people turning Kingdom Blaster into the blue and yellow from that. So it can be done, and it looks really good when they do it. So I think
so what was it
about that?
Sound Blaster and Twin Cast, that was the names of them when they were in Headmasters, I think.
Yep.
And I think Twin Cast was when Blaster went blue, and Sound Blaster was Soundwave going black.
Yep.
And I know they've done that one.
Yeah, they have. So I mean, it's not saying that they won't do it, but it's just interesting that they went with Shattered Glass Blaster first. So, but you know, it's for some people that is a big thing for Transformers, and you know, more power to them. It's not a big thing for me. Like I said, the only one I'm really looking forward to is that Ultra Magnus, because I do like those Diaclone colors.
Yeah, that one makes really good sense to me.
Yeah,
they're calling it Shattered Glass, but it's really not in that Shattered Glass motif. It's more like
Diaclone than anything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he comes with that cool alternate head, so you know, whatever you like. In non-Transformer news, somebody posted a preview of Wandar for Masters of the Universe.
That's on my list. Yep.
Isn't that cool? I mean, he's basically just a He-Man repaint with the black armor from Zodak, which is what he always was, right? He was never anything more than that. So this one's pretty cool.
They've never really confirmed 100% that the black armor came with him, but most definitely two of four Maroon Manny weapons came with him. And it looks to be, he's going to get the axe, he's going to get the Grayskull sword,
and he's going to have the gun.
I think, the card art looked like it was that black gun from the weapons pack, and then the black the black Zodak armor from the weapons pack. I love the figure. It's unfortunate that it's Mattel Creations, so it'll only be open for a limited time for pre-orders. But it shows a graphic of the character on the card, and then it does have a really sweet on the back of it. There's some really neat new art, and I guess
he's fighting those glow-in-the-dark skeletons.
Yeah, and I think the mini comic is going to have a little Wandar backstory to it too. So that's actually really cool.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, I've always liked the background or the beginnings of Wandar as the toy, right? Not the character, but the toy. How he was always so mysterious. Nobody's really sure how he started or where he was initially given out as. So, and I know lately, and you did a video on that where we talked about how that all came to a conclusion, and we finally realized where we think he came from and all that. But to see him on a card art as an official figure, even if he's pre-order and even if he's only available online, it's still very cool. So I'm going to try to get him if I can.
Yeah, the only thing that I thought he was missing was a maroon power sword. That would have been very, very cool if that was a pack-in.
That would have been pretty cool.
He is some character along the lines who has, been able to at least wield some of the power of Grayskull. I would have really liked if they would have kept consistent with these characters and had some colored variation of the power sword based upon the color of the character, like their gear or something.
Yeah.
And who's to say that it doesn't? But
the card art doesn't show it, and it doesn't look like it's packed in with the figure itself. But it still would have been cool to have a maroon power sword. You're right.
Oh, I would have loved it. That because to me that sort of keeps it tight with Mattel's narrative that throughout the years there have been others who have like risen to the occasion and maybe for a short time been bestowed the power of Grayskull to abate some kind of whatever world in universe ending threat was that Tuesday, for Eternia, because they got troubles on Eternia.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, it looked great. Somebody got a production sample of it.
Yeah, lucky those guys. Very cool.
And what that says to me is that you put your pre-order in for this, and we're not waiting 9 months to get your pre-order. If they've already got carded samples, there's already stuff done, packaged, ready to go. Might be a couple of months for shipments getting to the United States to fulfill orders, but that's really sweet. It should be a very quick turnaround time versus some other pre-orders that are, not even into production yet, like some of the HasLab stuff. I think that we're still a year out from Sky Strikers for everybody who ordered those back in November. So
yeah,
and
those are good for those guys too. I wasn't too jazzed. I mean, I was jazzed about the Sky Striker HasLab. Not jazzed enough that I was ready to back it, but I still think it was a pretty cool thing. So hopefully those guys like what they get, right? I'm sure we'll start seeing some when they start receiving them. We'll see some pretty good review videos out there. Are you going to talk about?
Did you want to talk a little bit about today's little mini GI Joe reveal on Pulse? Yeah, or actually, no, it was on Instagram.
It was on Instagram. Yeah, it was on Instagram. Well, I have a couple more things. I'll let you do that one. I have a couple more. I thought maybe kind of back in the week a little bit more. We saw some images for the new Legacy Core size figures. They look like repaints of ones that have already been redone, but there was like Optimus Prime and Megatron are repainted. Optimus Prime looks like Optimus Prime. He has no change, but Megatron looks like he's repainted in the G2 green and purple. But the one that is pretty interesting, though, is a redo or a new release of a different Shockwave so he looks more like the cartoon Shockwave and not the Bumblebee Shockwave.
Yeah, does he transform into the little gun?
He transforms into a ship that looks like a gun.
Okay, come on. We can't even do like something that looks like a hairdryer, laser, ray gun from the 50s or something. No, he looks like the stupid thing Cobra Commander came with on
he does.
From 1982. We don't want to do that now. We don't want to do.
No, he turns into a ship,
laser gun.
But if you turn the ship around, it's a gun.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'll get on board. I saw it and I figured it was just a repaint of something we already got, like the other two.
No, this one's a brand new one.
I should have paid a little bit more attention. I'm a bad trans fan.
No, that's fine. I just thought it was pretty cool. Core, getting things in the core size, I was never really into that, but these last couple ones have been really cool. So I'm pretty excited about the core releases of these. I may not pick up that Optimus Prime because he was the same as the one in Kingdom, but that purple Megatron looks pretty cool, and definitely that Shockwave is one I'm going to be looking for.
Okay, so I know what I'm keeping my eyes peeled for.
Yep. Okay, we got a couple more things, but I think we have 3 minutes in this section or this segment of our podcast. So we'll go ahead and I'll cover one of those, and then when we come back, we'll go into your news. How about that?
Yeah, sounds great. I don't got much.
All right. So one of the coolest things, I'll let you do the GI Joe. One of the cool things is another Masters of the Universe. We saw a teaser image for the Hordak for Masterverse. And so he comes with some pretty cool accessories. He comes with his crossbow. He comes with that red bat looking thing. Who knows what that is? But he's got some alternate hands. And he looks really good, actually. He looks bright blue with the red bat on his chest. So he looks very classic Hordak. Classic cartoon Hordak, I should say. So he looks pretty darn slick. And I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for the She-Ra that's supposed to be coming up pretty soon, right after this.
Zodak.
The Masterverse has gone from the when it first came out to being the butt of some jokes to being an actual very good toy line. In fact, a highly sought after toy line. So that was a good turn for Mattel there.
Yeah, that Zodak looks awesome from that series.
Yeah.
I think they're up for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store right now.
Yep. So if you're ready for them, I'm pre-orders. I have to be really, really jazzed about before I do them. Otherwise, I'm mostly hoping that I find them on the shelves. Oh, but like those,
sometimes you just have to have it, and there's no risking it.
The need.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
All right, so we'll go ahead and stop right there, and we'll come back for after our break. A word from our sponsors.
Plastic Adventures will continue after these messages.
Well, that's good. We're going to use that.
New from the Masters of the Universe collection.
To the battle bones!
The collector case that carries more than warriors, more than weapons. Your parents put it together.
To battle!
Battle bones can also help you carry on the struggle. The struggle for...
all the power in the universe!
The Battle Bones Collector Carry Case, new from Mattel, each toy sold separately.
We now return to Plastic Adventures Podcast.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. So yes, this is Inland Northwest Toy Show episode redo. Yes.
Redo.
With an X, because that sounds really cool.
D-E-U-X, redo.
Or are we sure it's not just like redouche?
Redo-do.
So yeah, our subject on the way up there was just favorite vehicles in general from all of these like great 80s lines. For me, I'm only going to cover the favorites. I think we've done some audio or maybe some actual like audio video episodes where we thought what would the best offerings were. So I'm simply going with what was my favorites, the things that I loved when I was a kid.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. So some of my criteria were it had to be a good vehicle that fit the size and playability of the action figure line that it came with. Like, it couldn't just be this came with a figure, but the figure didn't quite fit in the vehicle very well. So it needed to be both playability, but also be in scale and function for the figure that it came with. So so like I was going to start off mine like we did before. I started off with Mask, I think it was, and I said that it was it's the Tomahawk, right? Is that what it's called? The Tomahawk.
Oh, Thunderhawk?
Thunderhawk. Why am I thinking Tomahawk? The Thunderhawk.
Too much G.I. Joe.
Too much G.I. Joe in the brain lately. Yeah, so the Tomahawk was one of those good ones. So it came with Matt Tracker in the classic silver suit, right, with the classic Spectre helmet. And the playability was all there. He was in right scale. The gull wing kind of fad that was all over the place in the 80s fit perfectly with this vehicle, because when it went from car mode to alternate mode, it turned into a jet that could fly, apparently, if you added gull wing doors and some thrust behind it. So and I was on board 100%. I totally believe that, so it was good. The vehicle itself was cool, right? Bright red. When it turned into the plane mode, you can drop 2 little bombs, which were easily lost right away.
Instantly.
And sometimes the figure would be able to fit if you maneuvered it right. He could wear his helmet, but it would look squished down a little bit. But if you took his helmet off, he fit there just perfectly in both car and airplane mode. So,
well, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. A lot of Mask vehicles came with the seat belts to hold them in. And Thunderhawk, it was tight getting the figure into there, but he stayed in.
Yeah.
So, when you're doing your like barrel rolls and maneuvering around, the figure actually stayed in the car.
Yeah.
And I think it packed in a lot. I want to say that car was $9.99 when it came out, maybe $11.99. But what's really
was a big price for back then.
Yeah, I mean that's like the leader's vehicle, the main character that everybody is supposed to like or that everybody gets behind. And you're making this available at a really affordable price. Whereas, you looked at like Transformers, and at the time, Optimus Prime's $25 no matter what, whether it was one or whether he went Power Master. I mean, GI Joe was good about main characters being relatively inexpensive, you know, carded versions, but that's one of these things where they didn't make you buy the $50 play set to get the main character that you liked. It was just one of these things. I mean, you could get Rhino with Matt Tracker, which was, I want to say that retailed for about 20 back in the day.
Yeah. Can you imagine finding a Rhino for $20 today? Man, that would be like striking gold.
you can't buy a chrome part from Rhino for $20.
I know. But you know, the Thunderhawk was a great playable vehicle. Both of its modes were pretty solid. Over time, the doors would kind of start to droop, but all you had to do was reach in there, kind of bend that little spring that was kind of in there and load it back up, and the doors would come right back. So overall, it was a great toy. I still have one. You know, good luck to anybody out there trying to complete one, trying to find those little missiles. You may have to sell your firstborn son to get it, but sometimes it's worth it. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, I've said it once and I'm going to say it again. What are you looking for in Mask? $30. What are you looking for? $30. At least for parts.
At the very least.
Oh, you just need a chrome depth charge for Gator. $35.
Oh, $35 is on the low end, dude.
Yeah. Never, ever buy incomplete Mask unless you're just buying it to look at it and kind of hold it again. Because if you have, it's going to take you years and hundreds of dollars. You're going to be upside down on these things to try and complete them later. I lucked out on a lot of it, but I really paid through the nose for a few of the things that I needed. So, and to this day, there's probably 2 or 3 pieces that I still don't have. I don't have Vanessa Warfield's ejection seat from Manta. But anyways, that's a discussion for a different day. Yeah, Thunderhawk was cool. My favorite was actually Goliath from the line. That was from the ill-fated Racing Split Second series. Late figure in the line, but I love the colors, the yellow and the blue and the chrome. I love Matt Tracker's mask. I love the fact that you have this big rig part of it, the carrier that turns into this big base and stuff, and the Indy car.
Yeah, has the Indy car on the back is cool.
Yeah, has a flight mode, and it's got 2 little bombs that $35. If you need to replace them, then yeah, I mean that's what it is. So
we should rename Mask Money Pit, because that's what it is if you try to get into it.
Yeah,
throw your money into the bucket, the Mask bucket.
Yeah. So yeah, I know Rhino is technically cooler, but Goliath is my favorite vehicle of the series.
It's a good vehicle too. Yeah, you know, like you said, it's got the playability, which is a must for a good vehicle, and it's got to be right with the figures, which it does. So yeah, absolutely. Mask is a great toy line for vehicles. Back when they knew how to do a vehicle toy line correctly, right? So
yeah, and they did a really good job of hitting price points and having features and making the stuff cool. I mean, it's an easy one. I mean, that's like an underhand pitch because it's just a vehicle based line.
Yep.
But you're right there. Why don't we hop to Star Wars really quick? I think this one's unanimous.
Oh yeah. So the best and most favoritist of all Star Wars playsets has to go hands down to the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
It's so there are a number of things to love about this vehicle, and when you're talking about Star Wars vehicles in general, you kind of got to give them a pass on certain things. One of the things I hate about every Star Wars vehicle, no matter which one we're looking at, except for maybe the speeder bike, because it's got that weird T-bar thing on the front of it. You put your vehicle in the cockpit and you fly it around and you open it up and Luke comes out butt first out the, out the cockpit. There's nothing holding these figures in there. They're just kind of floating around.
Your ass.
So the and the Millennium Falcon suffers from that greatly. You put Han Solo in that cockpit, fly it around, land him, and he's just, who knows what position he's going to end up in when he comes out. But overall, though, it's got some great functions. It's got the gunner's chair that you put the figure in upside down. to kind of simulate how it was supposed to be in the gravity well for the top and the bottom of the gun, which, you know, in the movie you saw that. In the toy it didn't really come out as well, but still kind of cool. You had the three-dimensional holographic chess board, which was kind of cool. You had the smuggler compartment, which was also really cool. You can take that out, you can stand up your figures in that. A feature that I found years afterward, I didn't even know as a kid, was you could actually store the smuggler plate on the top portion of the Millennium Falcon. So when you're taking it off of the one, you can open up the lid, slide it into there, and store it there, and then have that. So yeah, I didn't know that until years later.
Hey, first time hearing it.
That would have been a great thing to have, like, as a kid, to realize that. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then the original, in subsequent releases they didn't have it, but in the original they did. Came with the bar and a little string to hold on to the little remote, the little black, basically looked like a little plastic black marble with some sides on it. But that only came in the original, I think. I don't think it ever came in any of the subsequent versions of it. So
I don't recall. I don't remember ever seeing that in any of the re-releases. But you're right. It's vehicle and playset in one. It's just, I mean, that's a big toy for a small child. But the landing gear came down on the bottom, and you could hold on to that to fly the Millennium Falcon around. And I remember as a kid still being able to hold it and fly it and play with it, and you had all the stuff inside. So it is my favorite, seconded super closely by the AT-AT. That's my favorite Star Wars vehicle of all of them. But
that is a good one. I think if we're going to talk about seconds, I think it's a close second for three of them. It's got to be either the X-Wing, the Snowspeeder, or the Cloud Car. Those are like my three top ones. And you know, another one which hopefully I'll have here pretty soon to show. I don't want to say it.
Okay. So Cobra.
Oh, but you know, Star Wars is another good line, because they did balance their toy line well with vehicles / figures, right? They had a lot of figures that you could buy, but they also had just really cool vehicles as well. And I remember I didn't care if I was putting GI Joes in them or what. Like, they were the perfect size for figures. They just didn't hold on to them very well. That was all. That was my major complaint with Star Wars vehicles.
Yeah.
Throw a little plastic belt buckle in there, or a little seat belt, you know? That would
Seatbelt, yeah.
3 cents. Come on.
Okay. What's next on your list, sir?
Okay, so we'll go. Let's talk about like some ones that aren't really well known for their vehicles, but which I think were actually kind of cool. So Masters of the Universe is not normally one that people think of, oh, hey, cool vehicles. I mean, we know they have vehicles, but they're not really in that lineup.
Yeah, Castle Grayskull and all the figures.
Yeah. Oh, you got vehicles in that line too? Actually, we do. We have some pretty cool vehicles in that line. And one of my favorites is the Wind Raider for Masters of the Universe. I love it. It's green. It's yellow, which was everywhere in the 80s, green and yellow. And you know, it kind of held that science / fantasy thing that He-Man was really good at, right? You had the barbarian type of adventure with it, but you also had the science fiction. There was some technology involved in there. So having the Wind Raider was kind of a really good way to kind of accentuate that this wasn't just a regular fantasy adventure. There was some tech involved in this. So
well, I wish it was a little bit more streamlined and it didn't look like an inflatable raft with undersized wings.
Those wings though, man, I tell you what, you break those wings, that thing's no good. No,
you got a boat.
Yeah.
But it did have the winch, right? Like you had the grappling hook on the front, and you could turn that horse head thing, and it would suck it in. So that was really cool. And I mean, it was like an $8 vehicle when it came out.
I don't remember it being a very expensive thing back in the day, but I do remember it was like that one, and oh geez, what was the battle ramp? Like that was the other one. It was like that would be my number 2, but if that's yours, I'll let you go into that one while you.
Oh yeah, Battle Ram's my number one. I mean, it did have a strange projectile, like it shot a missile with a flat, like weird looking face on it,
like a Japanese demon face or something. Like that's what it was like.
But what was really cool about that is you had the Sky Sled on the front.
Mm-hmm.
So you had this really cool looking robust vehicle that had a launching feature. It broke apart into two. You know, you could cruise He-Man around on the Sky Sled, and somebody could still operate the back of the battering ram as a, you know, essentially, I guess it's a piece of artillery.
Right.
Cool color, and it's obviously what the Sky Sleds are based off of, or the Sky Sleds. The Jet Sled is that funky blue accessory thing that he stands up on.
Yeah.
But
those were the ones that were like very well centered in the cartoon. They used those Sky Sleds very well. They were always, you saw the same animation for He-Man and Man-at-Arms, everybody running and then jumping on this thing and then taking off. But it was a cool idea. You know, to make a single man fighter that you didn't have to have a cockpit. You didn't have to do it. You just jumped on it and went. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's my favorite. And I find it superior in every way to the attack track, which is almost just like a red battering ram or battle ram. When you look at it, they have a very similar like profile to them. Mm-hmm. The attack track, they should have went with the big Jim vehicle that it was based on.
The big blue one.
The one that they did the cartoon imaging off of. They should have brought that in from Big Jim and let you put your He-Man figures in it and called that attack track. I don't know why. Maybe it was tooling or safety standards or something, and they had to switch gears. But that Big Jim vehicle would have been way better for attack track. Instead, you just got some red thing that kind of looked like the battle ram. Yeah.
One of the cool things though about the battle ram and the Wind Raider that I do like, which is only really kind of present in those early Masters of the Universe vehicles, are the decal applications. The art on the decals is really cool. Like they had like a dragon motif going along with all these different kind of swirlies, and then you had your tech part of it, the stickers that would go on the side. Yeah. So the sticker applications for both of the Wind Raider and the Battle Ram are really cool, and Castle Grayskull for that matter. I mean, it's. I don't think they kind of were able to carry that further along in their vehicle line as well as they did those early vehicles.
Yeah, the early vehicles are way better than the later vehicles.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so
I brought this one up last time. Yeah, I brought this one up when we were on the way up there, and it was one of those ones where everybody, once you see it, everybody says, "Oh my God, I had one of those." Mm-hmm. Laser Force by Gay Toys.
Yeah.
Yep, they're a series of silvery looking plastic vehicles that have black colored weapons on them, and usually like a translucent blue cockpit. They come with 5-point of articulation drivers that look like they're in like a tinfoil jumpsuit, so they're ready to be put in the microwave or something. But these were very inexpensive, like Kmart staples, and they actually, between the Land Rover and the Jet, looked very cool. And they fit in with all of your 4-inch figures. And to this day, I'm still watching them on eBay, and I think I have to have one because I remember them as a kid, and I love them. I just loved them.
I think I actually have in my figure bin one of the silver guys.
Yeah,
that go
probably.
That, but yeah, everybody remembers those. Steve, I mean, anybody who was a kid from our era remembered going to Kmart and picking up one of those. I mean, what, they couldn't have been more than $2. I don't even think they were that much.
I believe that they used like a weird perforated zip tie to hold the stuff together. You know, like the figure would probably be zip tied into the vehicle. For those of you out there watching, look up Laser Force by Gay Toys, and you will know exactly what we're talking about there.
If you don't know, but you see it, it'll spark that memory right away.
And still very affordable if you need one like me.
Yeah. They had the cool shiny silver plastic metal or plastic body, and then they had like the see-through orange cockpit for some of them, I think.
Yeah. They look great.
Very interesting color choices, but still very memorable. So yeah. Good choice. Well, not one that I would have picked, but I'm glad you mentioned it because it's kind of right there in all of our childhood memories.
Yep. What's on your list, sir?
G.I. Joe is next. So
okay.
it's a hard toy line to pick a good vehicle for. G.I. Joe has so many good vehicles that are very right sized for the figures that they came with. You know, the 80s versions of G.I. Joe, before they got into the neon colors and all of the ones like the weird septic tank and all these other with all the different gimmicks and stuff, were really down to earth type of military vehicles for G.I. Joe, and some really cool like experimental looking vehicles for Cobra. So it's really hard to nail down just a really good or favorite. But if I was like, hey, you have to pick one and only one, I think that one has to go to the Whale. It's got all of the cool playability features that any kid could possibly want from a vehicle. So many, from the very tip to the very end of that vehicle is all cool features. In the very bottom of it, you have the sled that shoots out when you hit the button. You have the opening portion of the cargo that holds all of the figures, which I think it can hold up to 8 figures in there with pegs. You have the raising and lowering cannons on the side. You have the missiles that launch from both sides. You have a cool standing cockpit that the world's worst figure stands in, and then you've got the depth charges. You've got the push motions activated fan blades. You've got a motorcycle scooter that shoots off of the edge. And then on top of that, this thing has wheels that it can float on the ground, and the son of a gun actually floats on water.
Yeah. Yep. That vehicle, I mean, I don't know how that happened. If they got like a model maker, a military model maker, to come in and design that, because it is so filled with details. It's a terrific vehicle, and I think anybody saying that that's their favorite vehicle out of the line has every right in the world to.
It seriously, and even when you compare it to other vehicle in other toy lines, it still stands out above all of them. It's really a hard vehicle to beat when it comes for options, playability, scalability, and just fun. Right? It's just it hits every box that you could possibly think of for a vehicle line that is connected to an action figure. So it's my number one G.I. Joe vehicle, followed by many others, of course, but that's my number one.
Yeah, and I mean, you use the term Grail piece. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is up at the top of so many people's list, not mine. But I think that it's great.
And I was one of the lucky ones who was able to finish mine before they got into the insane prices that you see them for now on eBay. So if I was trying to do that now, I would not be able to do it. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yep. I love it.
Gorgeous. So my pick has some similarities, but also it's very scaled back. And mine was Sergeant Slaughter's Warthog. It did float. It had a really cool design to it. I've just seen something recently where it looked like it's based on maybe some sort of like Russian APC vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was weird as hell. It was on my
real
Facebook
vehicle that
feed.
Kind of looks like that, huh? I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. It has like the treads, and it has that same kind of like squared off front shape to it. It had those 2 big missiles on top, which I can pass on that. A gunner station with a machine gun, and had grenade launchers on the side. I wish that it did have more of a main gun type of a feature to it that wasn't expended in 2 shots like the missiles, but it fit a bunch of figures inside. It fit them well. There was pegs all over the outside for them to stand on, removable engine covers, and same thing with the Whale. The thing floated. It was like a pool toy that you take in, to your grandma's house or something, and you could fit like a boatload of Joes into it. And then if you're like me, who is like a child of the 80s, and Sergeant Slaughter was one of my dudes. I love Sergeant Slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that came with arguably, maybe not the most iconic Sergeant Slaughter, but I think the coolest one. Yeah, with that like flak jacket thing and the belt of ammo and the gloves on his hand and his hat that you could take off.
You could pull his hat off.
Removable hat. Super, super badass figure. And I want to say that thing retailed for like $14.99. Back in the day, it was not terribly expensive. 14 or 15 bucks to get that kit.
Yeah, I think that you could probably find the engine cover for that price now.
If you're lucky.
If you're
lucky. You can't buy the antenna for that much. I've looked.
Nope.
But you know, I have so many great memories of that toy. I did take that in my grandma's pool with me, and I will confirm absolutely 100% that does float. Not if you turn it on its side and it takes on water, but if you just set it there in the water, it does float. So super rad, and it had that really neat warthog kind of teeth that you could put on there. Yeah. So
the warthog, I like anything that you can store more action figures in, right? And warthog hits that squarely on the head. You can open that side and just shove GI Joes in there, and it's cool. It's a play set in its own right too. So yeah. So is it as good as the Whale? No. Not even. It's not even. It's several leagues down from the Whale, but it is my absolute personal favorite Joe vehicle. Right on. If we had to go number two, my number two would be the Sky Striker. That's another one of those just super iconic vehicles that I mean, try finding anything that was as cool. I mean, next to the Rattler, where the plane was a super realistic. You know, and the Sky Striker hit at just the right time. Top Gun was awesome. You know, everybody was into F-14 love. So yeah, man. I don't know how many times I played with my Sky Striker pretending I was, you know, Maverick, killing Goose as we eject.
Great. So I got one out of nowhere. And this is another one I was just thinking, I never got it, but I loved this toy, and I would get one now if I thought I could get one for a reasonable price. Mm-hmm. I would love to own one, and it's technically a hybrid. What I'm talking about is 3030 from Bravestar.
Oh yeah,
love the character on the cartoon, loved it. Yeah, but that's like $200 to get that with the gun.
Yeah, that figure / vehicle didn't look anything like the one from the cartoon, but still very cool. I mean, he had the red sandals or the red saddle, all of his red accentuated accessories that ran along with him with that silver body. Is a very cool concept too, right? Because Bravestar was this Western / sci-fi. And Bravestar, I love the cartoon, the concept behind it too. So. And it had one of the best bad guys, Tex Hex.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, what was the real bad guy's name? The big baddie, the big with the horns.
Oh shoot. It was Tex Hex's boss that that scared him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever got a figure for it.
Not for that one. No, I don't think they would have been ballsy enough to release a figure of that, but geez. But yeah, 3030. That's a great one. That's one I didn't even think would make the list, but yeah, good job.
Yeah, I was just thinking how much I would love to have one, and I wanted one when I was a kid, but Bravestar, you know, in the Tri-Cities was sort of like here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I want to say I had one crack at 3030, and I ended up buying a Transformer or something instead, but the fact that it doubled as a horse, a cyborg horse for Bravestar, and he was like a sentient character, I thought was really, really rad.
Well, I mean, if you really love your robotic horses, you got one of them right there behind you. You can have your Strider or
Night Stalker in box, vintage, $30. Good job, Steve. Good job.
$30. Let's see.
So, do you have any other ones like that?
Let's see. Transformers, I don't really count because Transformers they're kind of their own thing. vehicles that turn into robots, so don't necessarily count those. Let's see, what other ones could I think of? Well,
You got a favorite Ninja Turtle?
do I have a favorite Ninja Turtle?
Ninja Turtle vehicle.
Oh, Ninja Turtle vehicle. Let's see. It would be a toss-up between the Turtle Blimp or the Party Wagon, I think. It, like, you know, it's got to have that playability factor once again, and not necessarily gimmick, but something that works for it. So like the Turtle Blimp would be good because, you know, you can blow it up into that big massive thing, and it was really cool when they premiered it on the cartoon. And I don't know if you could fit all 4 of them on the toy as you could in the, like you did in the cartoon, but it was nice, nice and big and pretty cool.
So I think Turtles is a lot like He-Man, where the vehicles are mostly forgettable. They had a ton of them, but it's not like you played with the vehicles. You know, you wanted something to be the sewer lair, or there was one, but even that vehicle fell a little short, but it's still one of my favorites. That's the Technodrome.
Yep.
Yeah, it had a lot of little stations and features inside of it, and I thought it was really, really cool. I loved it when I was a kid. Never got a chance to own one, but you know, even the Party Wagon, it was kind of one note-ish type of a thing that I don't think a lot of kids played with it for the vehicles. I think they played with it for the characters. But Technodrome,
nothing's that scary like a soccer ball with an eyeball attached to it, right? I mean, that's pretty much that's pretty much what it was.
With some sort
of the figures not
penetrative implement on the front. What
was that?
I said with some sort of penetrative implement on the front.
Yeah.
Coming for you.
I do remember though that the figures not being quite right scaled for it. Like the turtles would look pretty big next to it. But I don't think that it wasn't one that I had as a kid either, but I don't think that would slow me down from playing with it today, even if the figures were kind of big for it. It's you know, there's a goofy factor to that one that I think is endearing. So
well, I do have one Transformer that I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
And I mean, Transformers are vehicles, right? So that kind of should disqualify it a little bit. I guess you could say that when they were in the early days, when they were importing characters, you know, like Roadbuster, that was a really cool looking vehicle. And at some point, something fit in there. But there was one that I played the crap out of, and I loved it. There was a character called Overload who was a Micromaster, and he turned into a little blue a cab over engine style truck, and his trailer was like Ultra Magnus's car carrier, but the trailer turned into a jet.
Ooh.
So I thought that was cool that he could, you know, you had this like Optimus Prime type character, because that's how I saw it, with inverse colors, red and blue. And he could get onto that ramp, you know, get onto that trailer, and it turned into a jet and flew around. So I had tons of fun with that, because at that point I was still a poor kid who did not get, you know, $25 or $30 Optimus Primes. So that was a big one for me. I love that figure. And if anybody out there watching, take a look at it. It's actually really, really neat. It's one of the better Micromasters, and he held other Micromasters when he was in that truck and hauler combo.
Well, I was going to say, if we're going to talk Transformers, I wouldn't necessarily pick a so-called Transformer as he was known now. I would pick a Diaclone version of him, because Diaclones did come with minifigures that would fit inside them. They would operate the vehicles. So I would have to go with Convoy / Optimus Prime for that one, only because the little figures with the magnets on their feet could fit inside the chest version of him as a when he was truck, but also in the trailer they could operate the roller. They could operate the I don't know what's the official name for
that repair module thing. Yeah.
But it had it had a cockpit that you could put the figure in. So it had definitely that figure playability for it, which sadly was lost when they became Transformers and came to America. We lost that Diaclone figure part of them, but understandably so. It didn't go with the story motif. So
Yeah. Well, you know, if we're gonna stay on that really quickly, gotta love Diaclone Ironhide. That packs a lot in as a play set, you know, with the trailer and the drone body, knowing that was only supposed to be an exosuit type thing. That was that would have been very cool back then. It would have been. Does not work for a headless transformer.
No, with a seat as a head. No, not really. Okay, but we got a break for our so-called commercial. So Plastic Adventures will be back after these messages.
Bet you know what this is. It's the Darth Vader collector's case from the Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection. Inside, it's got room for your favorite Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back action figures. They fit? Yeah. There's Dengar, AT-AT Driver, Rebel Commander, Leia, and 2-1B. You can hold up to 31 action figures, each sold separately, and you can take them with you. Darth Vader collector's case. Action figures, each sold separately. From Kenner.
We're back from our commercial break. So yes, more news. Okay,
so some of the things that were released by Hasbro, we get some reveals. Our 6-inch Kenobi action figures coming now. So we get Kenobi as he is on that whatever that they're calling it, Kenobi Tibetan station. He's wearing like a blue tunic.
Yeah, that looks
with a backpack cool. Is actually kind of cool. Let's see what else. They're releasing another Obi-Wan Kenobi with like he's like got black pants and a tan shirt, but he's got some brown, like a brown robe on. So that's more of his classic Jedi look there. He's coming out. One of the more fun things I saw that they're releasing are pre-orders now for Paz Vizsla from Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So if you don't know who Paz Vizsla is, he is Jon Favreau character.
That's
so
it.
He's otherwise known as Heavy, right? People call him Heavy. But that's actually kind of a fun character. I've never really kind of gone in for those, like the ones for Dave Filoni and the ones for George Lucas. But that one's actually kind of fun. So pre-orders are up for Heavy / Paz Vizsla / Jon Favreau, if people are interested in that.
Yeah, and Disney, to never ever miss a monetary opportunity. I don't want to spoil it, but a certain character has a certain little friend in the first couple of episodes, and it's typical Star Wars sidekickery where there is something that will be very sought after, and I think it's an interactive item, and they seem to want to do this as much as they possibly can. Not like it would be a marketing ploy, but you know, like BB-8 style thing where everybody.
Well, that was my next one. So I don't think it's a spoiler because Hasbro, Pulse, and Disney have both released this. So I knew it. So I'm going to tell you, I called it as soon as I saw that little guy on screen. I went, "Oh, Disney's marketing the hell out of that guy."
Yep, most definitely.
And sure enough, right after that show was ended, the very next day, I saw that they were doing something for this little guy. So what we're talking about is there's a little tiny robot that follows a certain character around. I'll try not to give too many spoilers around. Follows a certain character around. The little robot's called Lola, and it's basically, have you ever seen Batteries Not Included?
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw it.
Yes. Yep.
So this little guy looks like a thing from Batteries Not Included.
Yeah, most definitely.
He's supposed to be animatronic, or I'm sorry, she. It's a female robot. She is supposed to be animatronic. Has a light up eye, has some moving parts, has some beeps and boops. So it should be actually just what every Star Wars geek is looking for if they're really into those kind of things. Let's see. And the last thing for Star Wars news, I'll touch on these, is the archive series added that they will now be releasing the Boushh Leia for pre-order, and the Tarkin, along with the Force Awakens Solo and a Chewbacca, not from any, just Chewbacca. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's from Force Awakens. Doesn't look like he's from, he's just Chewie. So he's part of that new archive lineup. And those are some good figures to have if people are really into the 6-inch Star Wars. I'm kind of a little bit more picky when it comes to my 6-inch Star Wars. I like to collect the original trilogy mostly, rather than kind of breaking off into prequel or sequel areas. But for the original trilogy 6-inch figures, these ones look really good. And I didn't get a chance to get Leia in Boosh disguise before, so hopefully I'll get a chance to grab this one because that looks like a really good figure.
Yeah, I really like that they're doing the archives for Black Series, because sometimes the distribution has been really spotty on the figures. It didn't give people an opportunity to get them originally, and now you can come back around and at retail price, get a figure that you couldn't get. I mean, I never once saw a carded Qui-Gon Jinn on those Phantom Menace cards. I've been wanting to get one really bad for Nicole.
Yeah.
And for the life, I couldn't find it. I mean, you go onto eBay and they're $60, $80 now, even for that. So if they would kind of come up with an archive figure for that, I'd pick one up for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the character. I really do, but that would definitely be one I'd snag for my wife, because I've snagged her the Han Solos so far in Black Series. The likeness is really good.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which kind of reminds me, this is far-flung future toy news, but we got a release date for Indy 5, and it's about a year from now.
Yep.
I can't even imagine all the cool stuff that we're going to see when that movie comes out.
I hope it redeems Indiana Jones in the eyes of the fans, because I know Crystal Skull left a really bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths over that. So I'm hoping this one kind of does something good. Indiana Jones is one of those characters that I'm like, will we please just let Indy die? Can we kill this man the way he wants to be killed in his movies?
I'm not ready to say goodbye.
Oh, no. You're not.
I love Indiana Jones.
Oh, I know. I'm a big Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's old, man. I mean, even if you do this deep fake stuff and fix his face and make him look young, I mean, he doesn't got any more of these movies left in him.
No.
But seeing how Hasbro has kind of marketed things, they missed out on the opportunity last time around. They weren't doing 6-inch Black Series.
Right.
So how cool would that be to get a classic Raiders Indy done Black Series style?
Oh, yeah. I sincerely hope they do a marketing blitz for Indiana Jones and go back to the older movies and give us a chance to grab those. That would be cool. Yeah. How cool would it be to get an in-scale 6-inch for the arc itself? Right? Yeah. That would be cool.
How about a Sean Connery figure, and he could do his thing with the umbrella and get the badge, Junior.
Oh gosh, that would be so cool. I would look forward to some 6-inch Indiana Jones figures. I wonder how
not news now, but it's like future news that we've just reported on. You heard it here, folks.
I'm sure people are expecting it.
Speculate Black Series Raiders of the Lost Ark.
They would be missing a grand opportunity if they just passed that up. The thing that I would be wondering about, though, is like they've done in the past when they have released figures from those first couple of movies. Like there was a 3 3/4-inch line where they had a lot of articulation on them, and they did release a couple figures from each of the different movies. How they're going to portray the Nazis in that, because all they gave the figures was like a red band and a white circle and no symbol. So I'm curious. Are they going to try to stay true to how they looked in the movies, or are they going to go the route where they're going to be more politically correct and be like, well, we're not just going to bring that symbol into anything? So
I don't think we're seeing swastikas anytime soon.
I don't think so either. That's why I'm saying I wonder if that's what they're going to do.
Oh my God. How cool would it be for them to release a series of 5-point POA figures done retro style like Raiders of the Lost Ark Kenner?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that would be awesome too. Give us the 6-inch and give us the 5 POA retro. I mean, it's not like we're not spending money on this shit anyway. So let's just go all out.
you just take it all. Take all of the money. Take it right now. So not news now, but this is how proactive we are, people. We are doing news a year ahead of time. Only on Plastic Adventures.
Only you heard it here first. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But we're going to claim it. What you got for news there, bud?
Well, we had the Mini Joe reveal today.
We did.
Yeah, so they really announced two. I don't think they said much about Dr. Mindbender in the classified series anyways, but apparently there's been a little bit of news leaking out that his DCPI number has shown up at mass retail locations. So
For Dr. Mindbender, really?
Yeah, I would assume probably Walmart and Target, but we haven't even seen Crocmaster yet.
No, we have not.
That's really going to be the first of these figures that are hitting the mass market that have like extra accessories or companions, you know, like that $30 Black Series figure instead of the 22 or classified instead of the $22 classified. Right. So you might have a shot at that. They did not announce when and where you could start pre-ordering Sergeant Slaughter. That's a need for me, and I need two.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to see, as much as I'm excited to see Crocmaster on shelves, the ones I'm really waiting for are Storm Shadow and Spirit Man. I've seen some people have them already, and it's just like, it just makes your mouth water, like, oh, those are such beautiful figures. Cannot wait to get my hands on those.
Yeah. Yep. Other news that, you know, that Masters Origins wave with the Horde Trooper.
Yeah.
Some targets are getting a shitload, and some targets are getting a nothing load of those. There's been all kinds of reports. They're running a big sale at Target right now to get rid of excess inventory because they're waiting for new Masterverse and Origins. And I saw a post on my group. They got them at like $8.99 right now.
No way. I might be able to go pick up a Fisto and Stinkor. Now, I've been passing on those every time I see them, but now I'll probably pick them up.
Well, those are the Fisto and Stinkor. Those are from Masterverse, and I think they're at $9.99.
That's a good price, man.
But the Origins are like $8. So go and check those two targets in the Tri-Cities. I've already checked here. It's been hit or miss with what we've had here, but I'll look for Fisto and Stinkor. But the bad, I guess I don't want to call it bad news, but there's a guy reporting on one of my Masters groups that I'm in. He's picked up 60 Horde Troopers.
See, why do people do that, Steve? Those are the guys that piss me off.
Of them for $8 off of the shelf. I think he's trying to resell and help the community a little bit. Help the community a little bit.
He's helping himself.
So I'm sure that he's selling them for, you know, 10, 15 bucks a pop plus shipping, whatever. But he went in there, and I mean, they had that many figures clogging the shelves in one Target. 60. That means that they have received 60 cases of that assortment. 60 cases. I mean, when during the holiday season, you know, when we were getting the Naked Stratos line, that one that came with Stratos, Jitsu, Sorceress, and, you know, some other jabroni, I don't remember. It was, you know, it looked to be that like a lot of the Walmarts and Targets were getting like 10 or 12 cases of those. 60 that he's confirmed on there, at least 60 this guy's picked up of Horde Troopers.
Well,
and none. So here in sleepy Mount Vernon, normally Secret Target's reliable, but I've got a couple of Naked Stratoses and some Skelegods they're clearing out. Our Walmart still has shit pushed into the wrong pegs for Masters. So
still have not even seen Terror Claws Skeletor. No matter how much I see the pegs empty, still haven't seen them anywhere.
There's been sightings of Leech and Snout Spout domestically. Those are two deluxe figures. The one thing that I can say that's really, really cool, and I guess let me roll it back a sec. So the Horde Trooper wave, I'm not giving up hope that that's not going to hit our targets and kind of be out there and available. Oh, yeah, it's that Black He-Man is in there.
Oh, yeah, the Anti-Eternity negative is one I really want. Yeah.
So I'm holding out hope that we will see him, but something that nobody else has really found that Bryson, the Plastic Ninja, found, the pig head with the 2000X characters.
Oh, no way. He found that one.
He found those. Yeah.
Nice.
He bought the He-Man from it. I think he bought the Skeletor, and there was one other. He bought like 3 of the 4, and also Taylor. So these things have kind of crept into the Tri-Cities. I have seen nary a one over here, and there's hardly any reports online of these things surfacing. So
that's good luck for him. I have not been able to check out our stores locally for a few days, but I am making a point to do it on Friday. So hopefully I'll get some good luck on Friday.
Yeah, Taylor referred to that 2000X He-Man as he boy, B-O-I. maybe the hair, you know, I don't know what it was, but so I mean those things are starting to filter out too, and that was found, you know, by 2 guys out of the Tri-Cities, and we have had hardly any other reports of those things surfacing. So they're coming too. Yep.
But to get back to your original point, so you were going to tell us about the 2 GI Joes that were talked about today. We didn't say who they were.
Oh yes, sorry. It's Shipwreck and Rock and Roll that's coming.
Yep.
I did not see where they released any images of it.
Not yet.
They just said they're coming. So with any luck, you know, Shipwreck, it's got to be classic Shipwreck, looking like a YMCA
It's
guy.
got to be, unless they're going to go the route of trying to make him more torpedo instead of classic Shipwreck, which they did kind of in the 90s. They put him in a wetsuit type of thing. I hope it's classic Shipwreck. He's got to have the blue shirt, the dungarees. He's got to have the white dog bowl hat, and he's got to have that gnarly beard. And damn it,
cool tattoo.
Put a button on his back so he can talk like Shipwreck.
Yeah, that would be cool. Voice. Yeah. But how do you feel about the Rock and Roll? Do you want V1 Rock and Roll, or do you want that cool one in the khakis with the hat?
So I actually like both versions of Rock and Roll. I love the green shirt Rock and Roll with the cross bandoliers that when he was originally released. But I do like the 2-handed Gatling gun Rock and Roll that was released with the backpack and the bullet belts. So I don't know. I don't know which version they're going to go with. I'm going to hope that they go with the green shirt because they did the breaker with Ram Cycle in the green shirt, and I think we need some more of those OG looking kind of GI Joes in the 6-inch line.
I would be okay if it went either way. My personal favorite is version 2, even though the weapons are a little bit silly. I love the look of that figure.
Yeah,
because he still had a really, like, in that time when those were coming out, you were starting to get these weird like science fiction designs, and to me that whole like getup that he was wearing still kind of screamed like military with the khaki and the green.
Yeah,
but I mean, nonetheless, either way, we've seen what direction that Classified's going, and that is going straight pure old school goodness. So yep. no matter what way, where we end up, it's going to be a great Rock and Roll figure.
I think
and
so.
Shipwreck, you better be classic Shipwreck. Hey, Polly. Yeah, that guy.
Oh man, I loved his voice. Like it was like what was it? Like oh god, I forgot his name.
A bad Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. There we go. I was like, it's Jack something. I forgot his name. Oh, old man brain. But yeah, I would if you're gonna release Shipwreck, you've got to do it in the blue dungarees. I don't think there's you would have so many people mad if you got Shipwreck in anything else. Or they may release him into that where he was wearing the blue jeans and the black sweater with the black beanie type of Shipwreck. Remember that one? So who knows what route they're gonna go? Yeah, who knows what direction. Either way, still good. Nice to know the Classified line is still going. I hope they fix their shipping and their distribution issues, which they have not done yet. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that it's not en masse that line with Storm Shadow and Spirit. Mm-hmm. It's not like we're seeing this retail dump across the country and we're just not getting it. It's been super slow to trickle out. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Their distribution and their shipping and their manufacturing has all but kind of been, in my opinion, a little wanting. But you know, I'm hoping that gets fixed soon because there's so many people out there clamoring for this stuff. They want this stuff. So I hope it gets fixed. Yeah, me too. You got any more news?
Nope. I think that was it. Those are all the ones I highlighted. Lots of exciting stuff, but yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Well, we got show and tell.
We do have show and tell. It was a little thin from this one versus the last one, but at least for me. But I'm starting to break back into a toy line that I kind of was like, I'm not too interested in these, and I sold them off when I first started collecting, and now I'm like, nah, I think I'll get back into that. So I'm talking about the 90s GI Joes. Okay, so I've been mostly collecting 1982 to 1989 GI Joes, but have started now to get back into the 90s. So I got here our Iceberg with accessories. That's mine. My kids fondly call him the Day Burglar.
Day Burglar.
Yeah. I'm like, why you go? Because he's in all white and he's in bright colors. He can only burgle during the day.
Yeah, what is that? He's going to rob a is it Memorial Day sale or Labor Day where everything's in white?
Oh, that's Memorial Day. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. More
watch out, Bed Bath and Beyond.
But only during the day, you know.
Yeah.
That 7 p.m. rolls around and he can't do it anymore.
Dude, seriously, all white get up with like an orange sickle helmet.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think they named him appropriately. Day Burglar. All right. Got another one here. Nice green neon Colonel Courage.
Oh, Colonel Courage. Yeah. I actually really like the design on that character.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's got that old school army feel to him, right? So
yeah.
I wish his guns weren't as neon, but yeah, it's okay. That's fine. And neon of all the neons for that one, of course, is Dr. Mindbender with all of that yellow.
It hurt my eyes, Doug.
Look at that yellow.
So bright, hurts my eyes. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into that line. I've got some more coming. It's okay, Steve. I'm over here. Steve.
Am I blind now? Am I blind? Hold on a second. Do I look like I could play piano and just smile?
No, you need some sunglasses and some braids.
Yeah. Braids. Yeah. Funny guy there. Yep.
But I got more coming. I found some more online for a good price. And when I say good price, I mean that's like anything under $20, right? So
yeah.
Got some coming. I hope to have in our coming show and tell some pretty cool stuff I was talking to you about before the show, but that's for a future one that I'm really excited about. So that's what I've got this week.
Well, I had a quick pickup. I want to say it was yesterday. It could have been the day before at Docking Bay 93. That's my local comic book store here.
Nice.
And it was just on a whim that I went through there. I'd gotten done at the gym. It's actually right on the way to the local Walmart. So I was going to pick up a few grocery items. And I said, I better have a look because they've been getting some kind of cool stuff in there. They've gotten all the retro turtles.
Ooh, cool.
And they also got those, those 6-packs that come with the carded classic figures. They're like a previews exclusive.
Oh, yeah.
And they come packed in like one. Yeah. So they've got both sets there. I'm hesitant because I don't like the cards that they're packed on, but they have the villain set that comes with like Krang and the Foot Soldier and all of those. And then they have the hero set that has Splinter and Shredder. So I'm just kind of holding out hope that we're going to see those on the Walmart retro cards,
Gotcha.
Like the more true old school ones. Mm-hmm. The ones in these 6-packs, they look like the KB Toys releases that they did. But anyways, I stopped in there and lo and behold, so they've been getting some stuff that's like way after retail. So, those Turtles retros released like a year ago, right? So that's kind of the timing. They're like 6 to 9 months behind on a few of these things that are coming out.
Okay.
But I did end up finding some kind of cool.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, Green Goblin.
Yep, got the Green Goblin from the Marvel retros. And for those of you out there who don't know me, I'm in.
Yeah, you are. You weren't, figures. But now you're sold. You're in it. You're in it to win it.
I'm not going to buy them all, but I did need to get this.
That was a good find.
Yeah, I did need to get this.
Oh yeah, you got to find Thor. Look at that, classic Thor. Yep.
And probably the one that I was most regretful to passing on out in the wild once that I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, black suit Spidey. I have the regular release Spider-Man, but I don't know why. I walked by, I left it on the shelf at Target for $9.99. And
that's a good one, man.
Yeah, and I'm only paying $11.99 for them, so they're like $1 over a regular.
That's not bad. Right? That's not bad.
So happy to get those. You know how they're going to display when I have that setup done. So not a huge score, but
no, it's good. That's good.
Really excited to have found those things out in the wild.
Very nice. Yeah. One of these days when I do make it up there, I plan on hitting all of those places with you. So it's going to be fun.
We found an antique store here that had a few things in it. They were passes for me, but I mean, they had some vintage Star Wars and a few other things. I cannot wait for the community garage sale again. After going last time and seeing the thing and knowing all the stuff that I just left, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a more like Target rich environment for some 80s toys. So
hopefully that'll be around when I get up there. I'd love to go to that too.
It'd be awesome. Plus there, you got Bellingham just up the road. They've got some things up there. We got Everett and all kinds of opportunity. So
oh yeah,
it really is good to be seen. Yep.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So that's my show and tells. We are going to be going back on the now infamous audio turd that was our special that we taped on the way up to the Inland Northwest Toy Show.
That did not turn out well at all. That video will never see the light of day.
yeah, we taped it because I'm old.
Taped it. Recorded the video. Who uses tape anymore? Jeez. All right, so we'll get into that one after our next quick break. Take it away, Steve. We'll be back after these messages.
Plastic Adventures will return after these messages.
So this is the new Hurricane. Hoo-wee. Glad it's on our side, Hondo.
Tracker here. Assemble masks. Intruder closing in.
It's a venom stinger. Look out! Hurricane engaged.
Vehicles each sold separately, with a figure.
Firefly heading for the sky.
Mask, where illusion is the ultimate weapon.
I'm getting out of here.
Mask, Hurricane, Firefly, and Stinger, each sold separately. New from Kendra.
All right, everybody, we're back from our last scheduled commercial break.
Who knows what I'll put in there? To the Plastic Adventures.
The exciting conclusion of Plastic Adventures.
Yes.
All right. Kick it off. What's our last?
So nitty-gritty time. This is like honorable mention stuff.
Yep.
I won't spend a lot of time on it, but Panache Place Voltron, one of my absolute favorites. Obviously, that's the whole figure and vehicle line, but I mean, it's 4-inch figures that fit in the lions that combine.
Yep.
So even though the thing's wonky and looks like a beef cadet when it's put together, a teeny tiny head, I still love it. I just recently got one, I don't know, 6 months ago, whatever it was, but I love it. And I mean, I love the thing. I've got the pilots to go in it. When you're a kid and you want to reenact Voltron, that's the only way to do that is with pilots in those lions. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. And even though it had the crazy clear plastic, so you could see your figure laying down in the back of the lion.
Laying down.
Yeah, laying down. It's still kind of cool to be able to play that, to be able to play with the lion and the figure separately as the story intended it, right? It's not like you got the Voltron and had to pretend that you had Keith running around. You actually did have Keith running around. So even though the lions weren't as articulated or as very detailed as the like the Matchbox version or so, still the playability was way better.
Yeah, the legs moved and the mouths opened and closed. Yep. So I mean, that's really all that you needed at that time, because kids actually had imaginations back then.
That's right, we did. So mine would be kind of closely in that line. I was thinking of this one as you were mentioning that, and some people may not consider this a good one, but I think it's actually kind of cool, and it's one that you did pick up recently, almost at the same time as that Voltron. Is the Gobot Power Suit combiner robot. That's actually pretty cool idea. so what you have is you have these smaller power suits that you would fit Gobots in, which were transformers in their own right. But then you would not only did these power suits give them extra power if you use your imagination, but they did combine to form a larger robot, which was very cool. Combiners were all the rage back then. So to be able to put your Gobot inside a combiner to which then combined was actually a pretty nifty idea. So that goes right along with that Voltron.
Yeah, the main body was a jet too that transformed, and you could fit Gobots inside of the main part of the robot, and it actually snaps together extremely securely.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like some of the Transformers that came apart really easy, like Devastator.
Oh gosh,
yeah. You put them together several times, those the tension wore out on the pegs and it just come apart.
Yeah, or you would sit there like slumped over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, and it was a fun idea too, right? I mean, taking Gobots that were not combiners, putting them in a power suit so they could become a combiner. Hey, I'm sold. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, they had two combining robot teams that were like 6 robots to make something. They didn't hold together very well, and they were both bad guys. So that power suit was a big deal. It got you to fork out another $5 a piece, and then 10 for the main body. So that was I liked it. I'm super happy to have had one, and it was very affordable when I got it.
Oh, they're very cool.
Yeah, not all Gobots fit in it.
Right.
You've got to really kind of fit the Gobot to the suit, but overall, you can form a pretty sweet looking Gobot combiner by just shuffling them around and getting them where they can fit. So that's one of my favorite 80s things too. I just never even got a chance to own one until recently.
Yeah. Back in the day, you could buy them separately. They were carded separately. And then the jet was a box that you could get, or you can get them all boxed together as one set. If you were lucky enough to have cool parents who would buy that for you. But
when you open it up, that sweet smell of styrofoam inside the box. Oh, the smell of never disintegrating and becoming one with nature. Oh, excess. Oh, waste.
They call it plastic crack for a reason.
Dolphins in nets, plastic islands in China. Oh, smells so good.
All right, what's your next one?
The Silverhawks jet. Simply because it could fit all 5 of the Silverhawks, and it was really cool and had these little modules that came off the sides. I loved it, never had one. I'll probably never own Silverhawks because they're so damn expensive, but incredibly cool. I love the design and everything about it.
The cartoon did a really good job of showcasing that, right? It was being able to launch the Silverhawk figure outside of the cockpit, or to be able to have the cockpit separate from the actual ship itself. I always thought the pilot for that thing was friggin' funny. It was just a silly his name was Bluegrass. Cowboy. He was Bluegrass, right? He had a cowboy hat and he played a guitar while he was launching people into space. So, I mean, that show had some real imagination to it.
And Bluegrass was like the peg warmer. Nobody wanted him. He was always there, along with Copper Kid on the shelves. How there was just something that I didn't think was cool about a guy playing a guitar. I wanted him to have like a laser gun or something.
Yeah, me too.
But then, oddly enough, you watch something like Mad Max Fury Road and you see some reject playing it, on the vehicle with all the fire and stuff, and it's oddly cool. So maybe my tastes have just changed over the years.
Yeah, but anything that could hold those figures were not great figures themselves. They had the forward arm movement, they had the side arm movement, they had no real articulation other than that. The gimmick was in that they were, vac metal with wings. I think that was really their only it. And they came with like a plastic hawk that followed them around, which in itself wasn't all that bit of a great of a gimmick at all. But but being able to have all of them together and being launched in a spaceship, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they could all do dumbbell lateral raises up to the sides. Dumbbell laterals.
They could do this, and then they could do this, which is
yeah.
what 5 POA Star Wars could do. But come on, we're talking like these are 4-inch figures, right? 4.5-inch figures.
Yeah,
give us some articulation in that.
And the hands were in this like neutral kind of thing like this.
Yeah.
How do you fight a bad guy like that? The only thing that makes any sense, you can't even. Yeah, maybe like. There is one that can be done. Ric Flair's chop, knife edge chop. They could do that.
Ric Flairing it up.
Yeah. So if you want your Silverhawks to be kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying sons of guns, then done.
Done.
Woo!
Yeah, they didn't even give us a mask to put on those things. Like even a
no, they look dumb. I did not like it when there was characters that were supposed to wear helmets and masks and they were sculpted with their faces showing, like Captain Power.
Yep.
Cool figure, stupid head sculpt. Yep. You want me to go to last on the list?
Yeah, let's go to the last one. We got
Thunder Tank.
The Thunder Tank.
I did have one of those and I loved it as a kid. It had the big rubber treads. Mm-hmm. So when you pushed it around, those wheels actually moved in the treads and the arms that came up, and it had this big cannon in the back. Yeah. And you could fit those giant Thundercats figures in, or Masters fit very well in it. So
you could have He-Man riding in that thing, huh?
You most definitely could. Actually, maybe more comfortably than those big bulky Thundercats figures with the Battlematic action.
That's an interesting one to end on, because Thundercats, much like Silverhawks, didn't get much love in the way of toys. They had the figures that had the light up eyes for Lion-O and Mum-Ra, and they all of the major figures got a release. But sadly, Thundercats didn't go very far.
Well, I think that they had about 2 years on the shelves, and they burned white hot, but then they were gone. It wasn't like the staple favorites. Yeah, like Masters that was there from like what, 82 to 88 or something. Yeah, I mean, it had big G.I. Joe, which almost just didn't stop having a run, and neither did Transformers.
Yep.
So
yeah, Thundercats didn't stick around very much, so there wouldn't have been a lot of kids who had an opportunity to have a Thunder Tank like you did, but definitely a very cool one.
Well, it was yard sale. I never got it at retail, because I want to say they went for like 20 or 25 bucks a piece. But I did get one at a yard sale, so I had the opportunity. And the back, you could actually get some like G.I. Joes and stuff where the back opened up.
Oh, cool.
It had room in there, so it actually had a lot of play value to it. And I remember loving it. I wish I would have kept it. I think I got rid of it or something in the 90s. I don't remember. But
yeah, I never got to play with one. Never seen one up close, but I have seen pictures of them. And it does look like it would be a fun toy to play with.
Very cool.
Definitely one that I would put up against my Masters of the Universe. That would be a good fun playing. Didn't they release a Thundercat Castle?
Yeah,
I thought they did.
The Cat's Lair. It was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just kind of this like big thing, and it had these claws, and it had the cat head on top with the eyes that lit up, and I think it opened on the front, but when you turned it around, it was really just this kind of hollow shell that wasn't terribly well thought out on the inside. So it kind of it had the same thing that Boulder Hill had, like there was a lot of appeal to it from the cartoon, but as a child's toy, it just, I mean, Master like Castle Grayskull, for being just a couple of cheap pieces of shell that locked together, it was about as dense as you could get in a play set. Not the same for Cat's Lair or Boulder Hill. Now Castle of Lions from Matchbox for those and the Panache Place, Voltron, that was a cool play set, but I don't have like I cannot spare an arm and leg to make that purchase.
No way.
Especially to get one that's not all yellowed up. Those things are just crazy expensive.
Okay, my last one, my honorable mention.
Great.
We'll go back to Gobots for one last one. And you remember the transport, the Gobot transport?
Yeah, the command center.
Yeah, the command center that looked like it was an AT-AT, but wasn't. That one actually had some fun playability to it too, right? You could make it walk, you can make it roll, and you can turn it into the command center. And you'd flip the head around and push that button, and it would make the most annoying alarm sound that any parent ever heard. And I just would push that button over and over and over again. I'm sure my mom and dad were really annoyed with me at that one. But it had like multiple levels. Like you opened up the back and it had multiple levels. It had an elevator. Yeah. It had like these cool red, clear plastic red things that you could look through. You had like pretend gas lines that you could hook it up to. They even had a Gobot cafeteria sticker. I don't know why, but it was there. But Gobots needed a cafeteria. Tonka was trying their hardest. God bless them, but it is one of those ones that I think kids during our time would recognize immediately and would know and be like, oh yeah, I played with that thing. And you know, anything you could fit the action figures. So Gobots, you know, Transformers didn't really have that. They didn't have something you could fit them inside of. So that's 2 points easily towards Gobots over Transformers because they could go into something like this. Yeah,
affordable, and actually in most cases, I've always argued that a lot of those figures, you know, they're simple transformations that you can make a Transformer sound and turn it into a car or a jet, and they're proportional looking, and you could move their arms forward so they could do things.
Yep.
You'll never take that from Gobots. I love the Gobots. I don't love it as much as Transformers because the mythology is crap. But
yeah.
You're correct.
The Gobot / Machine Robo aspect of it is very appealing, right?
Yeah, and that command center actually, for what it gave you, what it packed in there, it's a great toy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my picks. Steve shared some pretty good ones. Happy to see some of those. Some of the ones I wouldn't have even thought of. The gay toys, that one came out of nowhere, but I totally agree with you. It's a great play set. So
yeah, I may pull the trigger on that one. Just talking about it makes me need it more. So
I just don't know how you can explain the receipt on that one. Steve, you bought gay toys? Can you talk to me about this?
Aren't we celebrating that this month?
I guess so. I guess that makes sense. No, I'm just kidding.
I had to, because that was me expressing my support.
Good toy, bad marketing name. All right. So next week we'll have some more stuff to talk about. We'll have some more stuff to share, and hopefully some more news to come out of Hasbro and Mattel.
They're teasing a big announcement tomorrow.
They are teasing a pretty big one, so I'm pretty excited to see what that is.
All right, so I guess only thing left to say is we'll see you guys in the toy aisles.
That's right. See you out there.